Hello everyone! Have you already seen Elon Musk offering to earn extra money without registration and SMS? If not, then I am ready to congratulate you. You missed the biggest fraud using artificial intelligence. Deepfake of a well-known businessman caused huge financial losses. My name is Serov. I am the head of the creative projects of the Department for Countering False Information at ANPO Dialog Regions. Today we will talk about deepfakes and all the dangers that are associated with them. With the development of artificial intelligence and the availability of tools to create fake videos, the threat is more real than ever. Deepfakes can be used to manipulate public opinion, spread false information, and even blackmail. If you fall for a trick, you risk not only your reputation, but also your personal safety. So, in 2024, the number of attacks using deepfake technologies in the financial sector increased by 13%. to 5,700 cases. How do we protect ourselves? First, let's understand what deepfakes are. Deepfake is a technology for creating realistic images and videos, imitating a person's voice or changing a person's face in real time, of course, using artificial intelligence. Using deepfakes, one can spread false information under the guise of truth, for example, voice-frightening news on behalf of governors or mayors, use the faces of well-known opinion leaders to invite you to follow dangerous links, force citizens to use deepfake voice recordings to commit a rash act, for example, transfer money to fraudsters. One can even create your own deepfake for further blackmail. What other consequences can there be for the rapid spread of deepfakes? Disinformation of citizens and violation of their rights, distortion of facts and manipulation of public opinion, creating a negative image of political and social institutions and violating intellectual property rights, including undermining reputations, collecting or disclosing confidential information, and falsifying online identities. Deepfakes are not just videos on social networks. You can create a deepfake even on an online broadcast using special available programs, using data from video conferences. This is a potentially more impressive deception scheme because viewers simply do not have time for critical thinking and fact-checking. You can also cheat with audio. Spoofing attack. This is the name of cloning and recreating human speech using artificial intelligence. In order to do this, you need to record the voice that you want to imitate. And if artificial intelligence can fake videos, photos, and voices, are there any obstacles to creating fake internet profiles? Such cases have already been recorded. For example, fake accounts of journalists who applied to large companies for information were created. During the trial, it turned out that no journalists ever existed, but the information has already leaked. Creating a deepfake is not the most difficult task. Even unskilled people can create a deepfake using multiple photos, including on mobile devices. And in social networks, false information spreads faster than true information and is often among the most popular messages. Yes, large social networks have recently started monitoring content for possible detection of deepfakes, but the detection rate is low. Crimes are often committed anonymously, and it is almost impossible to find the authors, so it is important to protect yourself and be able to distinguish fake information from artificial intelligence. How can we distinguish deepfakes? We don't need to have special software to verify a fake. It is enough to be attentive and have the skills of fact-checking to give the necessary assessment to such materials. Neural networks are imperfect and allow for the appearance of what are called artifacts. Artifacts are signs of video or audio processing that indicate that it can be synthesized. A common artifact of the deepfake video sequence is the sliding of the mask or its unnatural position, if we are talking, of course, about the technology of face replacement. For example, your face looks taller or shorter than it should be. The discrepancy between lip movement and the audio sequence in the deepfake is also a well-known and noticeable artifact. But there are other signs. For example, an audio track may be delayed in some fragments. In the original content, such a technical feature would not accompany the entire video sequence. The same examples of synthesizing can include an unnatural complexion of the person or problems with image quality. Such artifacts are especially noticeable during head movement. Often, the quality is deliberately underestimated so that you don't see any inaccuracies or problems for sure. With good quality, it's easy to see bad facial animation, so you have to get out of it. What can we do if we find the video or audio suspicious? Focus on what you see and hear. Is there anything strange in the video, or does it feel uncomfortable or out of line with expectations? If the answer is yes, then it is worth referring to the details. The main thing is not to panic if you hear some contradictory information from a well-known person or official. Given that many fakes themselves make the main bet on the emotionality of the information drive, it is the feeling of anxiety or anger that should be the first red flag. Next, we gradually begin to analyze the video sequence, whether we know the hero of the video, how he behaves and what he does, what his facial expressions are, where his eyes look and how his mouth moves, whether his movements or speech style are typical for him. Ask yourself questions about what sources distribute the video and whether officials comment on it. Search for information on the topic of the statement. What about the generated audios? With regard to the audio sequence, synthesizing manifests itself in several artifacts. Speech generation services most often have some recognizable speakers. You may have heard them several times before. But there is a caveat. Currently, you can configure intonation and pauses in the voiceover services. This is a long and painstaking job that is usually neglected, especially when you need to quickly create and distribute a large number of fakes. Moreover, unemotional and monotonous speech is also inherent in some speakers. Be careful. Special attention should be paid to artifacts that occur when the originals are revoiced using artificial intelligence. Lip movement and speech should be synchronized ideally. It is in this aspect that inaccuracies and inconsistencies can occur. Of course, these are not all artifacts that can be encountered when viewing deepfakes, but the ones listed above are the most common. At the same time, the general trend is to improve the quality of deepfakes and improve the world of networks in general. New settings and opportunities are emerging to make video and audio more humanized. The best thing you can do when faced with ambiguous content is to take a break, not give in to emotions, and not send videos to messengers, parent and work chats. Wait for official comments as well as confirmations or conversely denials. Be careful and critical of the information you consume.